Elders warned us about stories like this. In many African villages, there are rules passed down through generations, rules meant to protect, not to frighten. This is one of those stories. In a time before memory, when gods walked among mortals and the line between heaven and earth was thin, there lived a man who believed he was equal to the divine. His name was Kwame, and this is the story of his pride, his challenge, and the terrible price he paid. But here's what the elders won't tell you until the end. Kwame's punishment didn't end with him. It's still happening right now, to this very day. If you value the stories our elders warned us about, remember to subscribe. Our story begins in the village of Akoben, a place so blessed by the gods that crops grew without labor, rivers ran with sweet water year-round, and sickness was only a distant memory whispered about in other lands. The people of Akoben knew they were favored. Every harvest they offered their finest yams, their fattest goats, and their purest palm wine to the gods at the sacred shrine. And every year, the gods smiled upon them. But among these grateful people lived a man who saw things differently. Kwame was the strongest farmer in Akoben. His arms could swing a machete from sunrise to sunset without tiring. His back could carry twice what any other man could bear. His mind was sharp, his wit was quick, and his pride was enormous. But Kwame had a secret, something he'd never told anyone, something he discovered as a child that made him believe he was special. And when you hear what it is, you'll understand why he thought he could challenge the gods themselves. Kwame had 7 sons and 3 daughters. His compound was the largest in the village. His barns overflowed with grain. When he walked through the marketplace, people stepped aside. When he spoke at village meetings, others fell silent. "Look at what my hands have built," Kwame would say, flexing his muscles. "Look at what my mind has planned. Tell me, which god walked my fields? Which god built my home?" The elders would shake their heads and whisper warnings, but Kwame only laughed. His wife, Amma, a wise and gentle woman, would plead with him in the privacy of their home. "Husband, your words trouble me. The gods give us the rain, they give us the sun, they give us the very breath in our lungs." But Kwame would wave her concerns away like flies. "The rain falls on everyone, wife. The sun shines on the lazy and the hardworking alike. I take that rain and that sun and I make something of it. I am the architect of my fortune, not some invisible spirit in the sky." Now, remember that secret I mentioned? Here it is. When Kwame was a boy of 7 seasons, he fell from a palm tree, a fall that should have killed him. The tree was 40 feet high and he landed on his head on hard ground. But he didn't die. He didn't even break a bone. He stood up, dusted himself off, and walked home as if nothing had happened. The village healer examined him and found not a single scratch. The elders whispered that the gods had protected him, that he was marked for greatness. But Kwame drew a different conclusion. He believed he was unkillable, that he was somehow beyond the gods' reach, that he was in his own way divine. This belief grew with him like a poisonous vine, wrapping around his heart, squeezing out humility, strangling gratitude. And soon, Kwame would do something so shocking, so unthinkable that even I hesitated to include it in this telling. But you need to hear it, because what happened next set in motion a curse that reaches across centuries. The year Kwame turned 35, Akoben experienced its greatest harvest ever. The yam mounds burst with tubers the size of a man's torso. The corn stalks grew so tall they seemed to touch the clouds. The palm trees bent low with the weight of their fruit. Rivers teemed with fish that practically jumped onto the shore. The chief Nana Ose called for a special Thanksgiving ceremony. "The gods have blessed us beyond measure," he declared. "We must give our greatest offering yet. Every family will contribute their finest produce. We will feast, we will dance, and we will show the gods our gratitude." The entire village prepared for 7 days. Women pounded fufu until their arms ached. Men slaughtered goats and cattle. Children gathered firewood in great piles. Everyone contributed. Everyone except Kwame. On the morning of the ceremony, the chief's messengers came to Kwame's compound. "The chief requests your contribution for the Thanksgiving feast," they said respectfully. Kwame sat under his favorite tree, fanning himself with a palm frond. "Tell the chief I will not contribute," he said calmly. The messengers looked at each other in shock. But everyone must contribute. It's our way. It's for the gods." Kwame stood up slowly, his massive frame casting a shadow over the messengers. "Tell your chief that Kwame gives thanks to no one but himself." The messengers ran back to the chief as if chased by wild dogs. When they delivered Kwame's message, the entire gathering fell silent. Nana Ose's face turned grey. He said, "What?" The elder priest, a man of 90 reigns named Kofi, stepped forward, his bones creaking. "Chief, this is blasphemy. The gods will not ignore such disrespect. We must intervene." The chief nodded slowly. "Send for Kwame. Bring him here. Perhaps we can talk sense into him before it's too late." But it was already too late, because at that very moment, in the realm beyond sight, the gods were gathering, and they were angry. What they decided to do to Kwame would become the most terrifying punishment ever conceived. I'll tell you what it was, but first, you need to understand what happened when Kwame arrived at the gathering. Kwame walked into the village square with his head high, his chest out. Hundreds of eyes turned to him, some angry, some frightened, all shocked. Chief Nana Ose stood from his stool. "Kwame, son of Yao, you have refused to contribute to our Thanksgiving. Explain yourself." Kwame looked around the crowd, a slight smile on his lips. "I will explain, my chief. I will explain so clearly that even a child will understand." He walked to the center of the square. "You all see these fields around our village, yes? Beautiful crops, thriving animals, abundant water. You say the gods gave us this, but I ask you, did the gods till the soil?" Silence. "Did the gods plant the seeds?" No answer. "Did the gods water the crops during the dry spells? Did they chase away the birds? Did they harvest the grain?" People shifted uncomfortably. "No, we did. We did all of that, and yet you want to give credit and the best of what we've earned to invisible beings who never lift a finger?" A murmur rippled through the crowd. "Kwame speaks truth," someone whispered. "His words make sense," another agreed. Old Kofi the priest struck his staff on the ground. "Silence, young man. You speak foolishness. The gods give the rain. Without rain, your precious fields are dust. The gods give the sun. Without sun, nothing grows. The gods give you the breath in your lungs and the beating of your heart. They give you life itself." Kwame laughed, actually laughed in the priest's face. "Then let them prove it." A collective gasp went through the crowd. Women clutched their children. Men stepped back. Even the chief's eyes went wide. What? What did you say?" Kofi whispered. Kwame spread his arms wide, looking up at the clear blue sky. "I challenge the gods. I, Kwame, son of Yao, challenge the gods to prove they exist. Strike me down. Take my life. Show your power." "Kwame, no!" Amma screamed from the edge of the crowd, but her voice was drowned out. "If these gods are real," Kwame continued, his voice booming across the square, "let them kill me where I stand. If they cannot, then I proclaim before all of you, there are no gods, only us, only humanity, only the strength in our arms and the will in our hearts." Thunder rumbled in the distance, though there were no clouds. The ground trembled slightly. But Kwame remained standing. He waited. 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 20 seconds. Nothing happened. He turned to the crowd with a triumphant smile. "You see? Nothing. There are no gods to offend, no divine beings to fear. We are free." And then, the gods did something worse than killing him. So much worse. Because what they did to Kwame was designed not just to punish him, but to make him regret ever being born. And it worked. By the third day, Kwame was begging for death. But the gods weren't finished with him. Not even close. For 3 days, nothing happened. Kwame strutted through the village like a conquering hero. Some people, especially the young men, began to whisper that maybe he was right. Maybe the gods were just stories the elders told to keep people obedient. But Amma knew better. She barely slept, watching her husband with growing dread. Kwame, please, she begged on the third night. Go to the shrine, make an offering, apologize. It's not too late. Kwame laughed and poured himself more palm wine. Apologize? To whom? To the wind? To the trees? Woman, you worry over nothing. I have proven my point. There is nothing to fear. That night, Kwame slept soundly. It was the last peaceful sleep he would ever have. On the fourth day after his challenge, Kwame woke before dawn to walk his fields, as usual. But something was wrong. His body felt strange, heavy. His arms moved, but sluggishly, as if pushing through mud. His legs trembled with each step. Must have drunk too much palm wine, he muttered. But by midday, he could barely lift his machete. By evening, he couldn't stand without leaning on his stick. By nightfall, his wife had to help him to his sleeping mat. "What's happening to me?" Kwame whispered, and for the first time, there was fear in his voice. Amma called the village healer, but the old woman could find no disease, no injury, no explanation. "His body is healthy," she said, confused, "but it's as if his strength is draining away." The next morning, day 5, Kwame couldn't get up at all. His powerful muscles, the ones he'd been so proud of, had withered overnight. His arms, which could carry twice any man's load, were now thin as sticks. His legs, which could walk for miles without tiring, couldn't support his weight. But that wasn't the worst part. The worst part was that he could still feel everything. The gods hadn't numbed his body or clouded his mind. They wanted him fully aware of every moment of his transformation. By day 7, Kwame was a skeleton wrapped in skin. By day 10, even breathing was agony. Amma sat by his side constantly, tears streaming down her face. "Forgive them," she begged. "Husband, please, ask the gods for forgiveness." But Kwame's pride, that poisonous, stubborn pride, wouldn't let him. "No," he rasped, "I was right." On the 14th day, the village priest Kofi came to Kwame's compound. He looked down at the withered shell of the man who had challenged the gods. "Kwame," he said softly, "the gods have sent me a message. They want you to know something." Kwame's eyes, the only part of him that still seemed alive, focused on the priest. "They say this: you believed you created your own strength. So now we remove our gift of strength and you see what you truly are without us. You believed you controlled your own life. So now we show you how fragile that life really is. You wanted to be free of the gods. So now you are free. Free to experience what existence is like when we withdraw our blessings." Tears rolled down Kwame's sunken cheeks. "But," Kofi continued, "they have also said this: if you acknowledge the gods, if you show true humility and remorse, they will restore you, but you must do it willingly. You must do it from your heart." For 3 days, Kwame lay silent. His family gathered around him. His 10 children wept. His wife prayed. The entire village waited. Finally, on the 17th day, Kwame's lips moved. Everyone leaned in to hear. "I," he whispered. "Yes," Amma urged gently. "I acknowledge the gods." Amma's face lit up with hope. "I acknowledge that if gods existed, they would not be so petty, so cruel, so small as to torture a man for speaking his mind." The crowd gasped. Kofi's face went white. "Therefore," Kwame continued, using his last reserves of strength, "I die knowing I was right." And that's when the gods did something unprecedented, something so shocking that it's whispered about even today. They didn't let him die. Even though Kwame wanted death more than anything, even though death would have been a mercy, the gods refused to give it to him. What they did instead became the most terrifying curse in all of African folklore. That night, as the village slept, lightning struck the sacred shrine. When the villagers ran to see what had happened, they found words burned into the ancient wood. Words in a language older than memory, but that everyone somehow understood. Kwame wished to be free of the gods. His wish is granted. He will live free. Free of our mercy, free of our compassion, free of the release of death. He will live forever as he is now. Weak, suffering, unable to die. And he will watch as everything and everyone he loves turns to dust. This is the price of challenging the divine. The villagers stood in horror, the message sinking in. Eternal life, but not as a blessing, as a curse. Ama ran back to their compound, her heart breaking. But when she arrived, Kwame's sleeping mat was empty. "Kwame," she screamed, "where are you?" The children searched everywhere, the compound, the fields, the forest. He was gone. Some say that on that night, Kwame's body, withered and weak, rose from his mat against his will and walked into the forest. Some say he tried to throw himself into the river, but his body wouldn't let him drown. Some say he lived in a cave, hiding from the sun, hiding from people, living with his torment. Years passed. Ahmad died of heartbreak within a season. His children grew old and died. His grandchildren grew old and died. The village of Akoben eventually crumbled and was forgotten. New villages were built on the same spot. Those villages fell too. Kingdoms rose and fell. Languages changed. The world transformed around him. But Kwame lived on. The legends say that Kwame lived for 300 years in that first form. Weak, suffering, unable to die. And then the gods showed him another kind of mercy, a cruel mercy. They transformed him not back to his former strength, but to something else entirely. They turned him into a tree, a baobab tree. You know the ones, those strange ancient trees with trunks like swollen bottles and branches that look like roots reaching towards the sky? The Africans have a saying about the baobab tree. The gods planted it upside down. Now you know why. As a tree, Kwame could not move, could not speak, could not do anything but stand and watch the world pass by. He felt every season, every drought, every storm. He watched humans, thousands of them, pass beneath his branches. He watched them love and laugh and live their lives. He watched them die and turn to dust while he remained. Birds nested in his branches and he couldn't brush them away. Insects burrowed into his back and he felt every bite. Lightning struck him and he burned but did not die. Axes bit into his trunk and he bled sap but did not fall. For 2,000 years he stood as a tree. But here's the terrifying part, the part that makes this more than just an ancient story, the part that should make you look at the world around you very, very differently. Because according to the elders, Kwame's punishment isn't over, it's still happening, and you might actually have seen him. After 2,000 years as a tree, the gods changed him again. This time, they gave him back his human form, but not his youth, not his strength. They gave him the body of an ancient withered man, exactly as he looked on the 17th day of his curse. And they set him to wander, to walk the earth forever, never aging beyond his withered state, never dying, never finding rest. The elders say that Kwame still walks among us today. Have you ever seen an old beggar on the road, so old that you wondered how he was still alive? Have you ever encountered a traveler who seemed lost in time, who spoke of places that no longer exist, who had eyes full of unbearable sadness? Have you ever heard stories of the same mysterious old man appearing in different countries, different continents, different centuries, always wandering, never staying, never belonging? That's Kwame. the man who challenged the gods, the man who thought he was self-made, the man who learned too late that pride is the deadliest poison. They say he's not allowed to tell anyone who he is. They say if you offer him food, he can eat, but it gives him no satisfaction. They say if you offer him water, he can drink, but it doesn't quench his thirst. They say if you ask him his name, he'll give you a false one because speaking his true name causes him physical pain. They say he's witnessed every great tragedy in human history, every war, every famine, every plague, and he cannot help, cannot intervene, can only watch and move on. They say on quiet nights, if you listen carefully, you can hear him weeping. They say the gods update his punishment with each passing age, finding new ways to make him suffer without killing him. In ancient times, he was a tree. In medieval times, he wandered as a leper, forever ill but never dying. In recent centuries, he's been a homeless wanderer, invisible to the busy world. Some versions of the story say that Kwame's curse will only end when he does one thing. He must sincerely, willingly, from the depths of his broken heart, acknowledge the gods and ask for forgiveness. But here's the tragedy. After 3,000 years of suffering, Kwame's pride has actually grown harder, not softer. The suffering has made him bitter. The isolation has made him angry. The endless years have convinced him that if the gods really were good, they would never punish anyone like this. So he refuses. Even now, even after everything, he still refuses. And so he wanders. The elders tell this story to teach many lessons. Pride comes before destruction. Humility is not weakness, it's wisdom. Question the gods if you must, but never mock them. The strong should remember they are mortal.
Today's strength is tomorrow's memory. We build nothing alone. We are supported by forces seen and unseen. But there's one more lesson, whispered only at the end, when the fire has burned low and children have been sent to bed. The gods are patient, but they are not mocked, and their memory is very, very long. Because somewhere out there, right now, a withered old man is walking. His feet are bleeding. His body is in agony. His heart is shattered into a million pieces. But he's still walking, still refusing, still paying the price. This is the tale passed down through generations from elder to child around fires in 1,000 villages. The tale of the man who challenged the gods and paid the price, a price he's still paying, a price he'll pay forever. Unless one day his pride finally breaks and he whispers those 3 simple words, "I was wrong." If this story touched you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And remember, humility is not weakness. It's the wisdom to know we're all connected to something greater than ourselves. If you value the stories our elders warned us about, subscribe and help keep these traditions alive. And tell us in the comments, what warning did your elders give you as a child? Remember, some stories are not meant to scare you, but to protect you. This is the stories our elders warned us about.